Welcome to Variant, everyone. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving weekend and maybe picked up a treat or two on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, we sent out a poll to ask which History of episode you guys would like to see. Ghost Spider or Mara? Well, you all voted, and today we're giving the people what they want, a history of Ghost Spider, aka Spider-Gwen. This also continues our coverage on some of the characters appearing in the upcoming Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse animated movie. But without any further ado, let's get into it. Gwen Stacy was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 31 in December of 1965. From the start, Gwen was always meant to be a love interest for Peter, but initially Peter would ignore all the moves she would put on him as Aunt May was in the hospital. This led to her dating Harry Osborn and even Flash Thompson, but it was all to make Peter jealous. Long story short, Gwen and Peter eventually started dating. But as most comic book fans know, she would later be tragically killed when the Green Goblin threw her off the Brooklyn Bridge. In the incident, Spider-Man tried to save her, but when his web line caught her, the sudden stop gave her whiplash, snapping her neck, killing her as indicated by a snap caption by her head, giving us one of the most tragic deaths in comic book history since Peter blamed himself. She's been dead in the 616 universe ever since, but an alternate reality version of her from Earth 65 was created in the form of Spider-Gwen, now Ghost Spider. She first appeared in the Edge of Spider-Verse issue 2 in November of 2014 and was created by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. She instantly became a massive hit with fans, as most were just happy to have some version of Gwen Stacy back in the comics. And giving her spider-like powers and reversing the roles with her and Peter was super interesting to see. This version of Gwen became so popular, in fact, she's already appeared in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon series and is now making her big screen debut in the Into the Spider-Verse movie. So now that I got you up to speed with the original Gwen Stacy, let's take a look at Earth 65's Gwen Stacy's origin. Now, if you watched the Origin of Spider-Gwen episode that we did back in 2015, which was just after her first appearance, this is going to sound a little familiar to you, or it may not depending on how bad your memory is. In any case, let's recap before we get into story arcs. On Earth 65, the famous radioactive spider didn't bite Peter Parker, it instead bit Gwen Stacy, giving her many spider-like abilities. At this time, she went by the name of Spider-Woman, and just like Spider-Man of Earth 616, she initially used her newfound powers for personal gain rather than helping people, so she decided to become a professional drummer. As for Peter Parker, on this Earth, he remained the weak teen that was bullied in the 616 universe before he got his powers. They even gave him the nickname Pathetic Parker, so Gwen would often save him from bullying. This made him develop an inferiority complex, which led him to create a serum that made him more like Gwen, as she earlier revealed to him that she had powers. This causes him to become Earth 65's Lizard, and Gwen is forced to fight him. She defeats him, but unfortunately, due to the serum having side effects, Peter dies, and she vows to use her powers for good. Quite literally, he was the Uncle Ben / catalyst in this universe to make her use her powers for good. But guess who else is in this reality? J. Jonah Jameson, and he blamed Spider-Woman for Peter Parker's death and started a campaign against her. Now, remember how I said Gwen was a drummer? Well, the band's name is the Mary Janes, which includes Mary Jane Watson, Glory Grant, and Betty Brant. The bandmates, however, are unaware of Gwen's hero life. The funny thing is, while out crime fighting, Gwen is targeted by the police force, who is being commanded by her own father, Captain George Stacy. So it's kind of like a Batgirl Commissioner Gordon type deal, as Batgirl's dad is Jim Gordon. Captain Stacy was very good at his job, and due to his success against organized crime, there was a hit placed on him by the Kingpin, who uses his lawyer Matt Murdock to hire his hitman, Alexei Sichovich, who in the regular continuity is the Rhino. Alexei tracks down Captain Stacy at the Mary Jane's concert and attacks him there. Gwen then steps in and is able to defeat him, but is cornered by her own father. There she reveals to him that she is Spider-Woman, to which he says, "Damn it, Gwen, go on then, get the hell out of here before I come to my senses." And that is gonna lead us into story arcs. Directly after revealing herself to her father, Gwen is recruited to take part in the Spider-Verse event by Spider-Man UK. She became one of the many spider totems from all over the multiverse. If you don't know what the Spider-Verse event is, it's where Spider-Men from every reality are being hunted down by Morlun and his family. Well, during the event, she becomes one of the main 616 Spider-Man's right-hand members. However, at first, he is unwilling to risk her in dangerous situations since he couldn't save his own Gwen Stacy. But they promise to look after each other's backs. So after this, Gwen is sent on a mission to recruit another alternate version of Peter Parker, but when she arrives, she realizes after this reality's Gwen Stacy died, Spider-Man became bitter and more ruthless, eventually turning into the Hobgoblin. Gwen tries to recruit him and even gets through to him, but they are attacked by members of Morlun's family, Peter sacrifices himself to save Gwen, and with his last words, he assures her that he is dying a happy man and that she in truth had saved him. This in turn gives her some closure and peace with Peter's death on her reality. Gwen later returned back to her own Earth, and once she was back, she continued to be a costume crime-fighting vigilante. But if you're a superhero protecting your city, new villains are always going to rise, and that came in the form of the Vulture. And Gwen set out to catch him and bring him to the police in order to gain their trust. Pretty much what Batman tends to do. As you can see, there are quite a few parallels with Ghost Spider and Batman. It's probably why I like her. Anyway, her being a vigilante wasn't healthy for her friendship with Mary Jane and her other band members. But even more important, it wasn't healthy for her and her dad's relationship. Seeing all the beats with her and her father is one of the best parts of her first solo title for me. It's just super interesting to see the captain of the police force deal with his superpowered vigilante daughter. But back to the Vulture, her first fight with him didn't end so well. She got her butt handed to her, but she did manage to defeat him the second time around. It's after this that Gwen learned that her father lost command of the manhunt for her, which had been reassigned to Frank Castle. That's right, the Punisher on this Earth is a police officer known for his brutal tactics. Well, Castle attacked her after her fight with Vulture and ripped off her mask and was shocked to see it was a teenage girl. His exact words were, "How? You're just a girl." To which she says, "Yeah, that's right, I'm just a girl," and then laid him out with a punch while getting her mask and running away. After this, in Spider-Gwen's second self-titled series, the Lizard had re-emerged. This Lizard, however, was Curt Connors, who was the only other person who knew Peter was the original Lizard. The problem is, when Gwen went to investigate this new Lizard, she realized Connors was just one of many. She battles the Lizards, but her fight was broken up by Captain America, who on this Earth is Samantha Wilson. She tells Gwen these men are property of S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's under arrest. Cap and Gwen would go at it for a bit before settling their differences and defeat the Lizard together. After this, she would go on to fight the Green Goblin, aka Harry Osborn, who wore Green Goblin armor. You see, Harry blamed himself for Peter's death, as he did nothing to stop Spider-Woman from killing one of his best friends. So he decided to spend 2 years training as a soldier and joining S.H.I.E.L.D., later defecting to Silk, in order to take revenge with the help of a Green Goblin-themed power armor. Wanting to kill Spider-Woman, Harry soon after takes the Lizard Serum, because apparently everyone drinks it like water in this universe. But Gwen is able to give him a suppressant to reverse the mutation. Eventually, Miles Morales and Gwen formed a brief romantic relationship when they were looking for his dad on her Earth, but they were forced to part ways. However, on Earth 8, the two got married and have 2 children who also have spider powers. Moving along, we have the time Gwen got the Venom symbiote. This took place in issue 24 of her second self-titled series. That's right, Peter isn't the only one who donned a black suit. The symbiote is created when her powered up radioactiveness pulls the lizard DNA out of Harry Osborn and created something different, which ends up being the Venom symbiote. It initially bonds with Logan, aka Wolverine, but ultimately bonds with Gwen, giving us Gwenom. And I've said it before, but the character design for Gwenom is super cool. She doesn't stay Gwenom forever, but it was really cool to see it while it lasted. And more recently, she was given a third self-titled series, which is nuts considering she's only been around for roughly 4 years. In any case, her new series is called Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider, which is her new hero name. That's right, her name is no longer Spider-Woman, it is Ghost Spider, which I think is pretty cool and way better than Spider-Woman and Spider-Gwen. Her newest series is only 2 issues in at the time of this video going up, and they're tie-in issues to Marvel's Spider-Geddon event. But just like that, friends, it's time for powers and abilities. Her powers are pretty similar to those of Peter Parker. She has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, and numerous spider-like abilities. With her strength, she can lift up to 10 tons. Gwen also has incredible reflexes and agility. She has perfect equilibrium in any position you can think of. And of course, she has a spider sense that alerts her of nearby danger. Gwen's body is also physically tougher and way more resistant to injury than a normal person. And I can't forget she has web shooters that were given to her by Janet Van Dyne. They trap moisture from the air to create web fluid that allows her to project web ropes, nets, globs, etc. And probably her coolest device, Gwen has a wristwatch-sized device that allows her access to other realities. But again, she's very similar to the main Peter Parker Spider-Man in power set. So let's move on to reading recommendations. Read Spider-Gwen Volume 0 Most Wanted, Spider-Gwen Volume 1 Greater Power, Spider-Man Spider-Gwen Sitting in a Tree, Spider-Gwen Volume 5 Gwenom, her new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider series, and of course, the Spider-Verse and Spider-Geddon events. That should be enough to get you all started. First up for Wednesday, November 28th, we have Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider Issue 2, a Spider-Geddon tie-in. Trapped on a parallel world as her friends are dying, there's something very familiar about Spider-Geddon to Gwen Stacy. Next, we have the Uncanny X-Men issue 3. It's X-Men disassembled, and the X-Men are drawn into a deadly conflict. Now we have Aquaman Justice League Drowned Earth issue 1. This is the finale to the Drowned Earth story. Aquaman faces the truth behind Atlantis' past and must find a way to reclaim the power of his birthright, or watch the floodwaters drown everything he has ever loved. Here we have The Flash issue 59, Force Quest Part 2. Next stop, Gorilla City. The Flash's next destination on his new training mission is the stomping grounds of his longtime foe, Gorilla Grodd. And finally, we have Heroes in Crisis issue 3. Tragedies deepen and more secrets behind the superhero hospital called Sanctuary are revealed. What compelled Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to create it in the first place, and how was it built? That's going to bring another episode of Variant to a close, but remember to check out our website, variantcomics.com, to keep up with the show and all things comic related. You can also check us out on social media, like our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Facebook. Links for that are in the description below. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.